What's up guys, my name is Chris, or TaintedCatalyst, and today I'm bringing you a Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This is against, oops, forgot his name, 1 second, sorry, Frozen Soul from some Zat, not really sure which one. I just was randomly searching through them and I found a guy who wanted to have a battle. I know that I said I was going to be sticking with the other team for a while, and I am actually going to go back to it. However, somebody mentioned that I should do a rain team with Blastoise. And I was like, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds fun. So I made a rain team. I've never used weather before, apart from that OU match that I had with Sandstorm. Oh, sorry, loud noise outside. Yeah, anyway. So I decided to use it and give it a go, and it was pretty fun. And you'll see the result. Yeah, still new to this game, as you will definitely see. I'm going to go through stuff as it happens. Anyway. The question of the day today is, which generation of Pokemon is your favourite? For me it's red, blue, yellow, the first generation. Basically kind of a nostalgia thing. That's the one that I started with. And I've always just kind of enjoyed it, and I think that's probably what goes down to it. And then I'd probably say it'd be gold and silver then. I never played the third generation, but the fourth gen was okay, and I enjoyed the fifth gen. Anyway, I'm going to get straight into the battle. Okay. So, somebody in the last video commented and said that I speak too quickly and I don't talk about the game too much, so I'm going to try and do that a little bit better. So he leads with his Rampardos, and I lead with my Yuxi, and I go for the Yong, so I'm not sure what this thing can do to me, and I do want to set up the Rain, and luckily he goes for the Substitute, and I was quicker than him, so he has to switch out. I think I use this turn to get the Stealth Rocks up as he switches to Glacian. Excuse me, Glacian. So he's now got the Rocks up, and this turn, again, there wasn't much I thought he could do to me, and so I set up the Rain. And then he uses Roar on me, and I was thinking, okay, that's not actually too bad. But it actually brings me into probably the least useful Pokemon for me right there. But I decide, again, there's not much he can do to me, and so I just set up Spikes, and he Roars me again. And again, I was thinking, okay, bring me into one of my attackers here, it'd be nice. And he puts me to Yuxi, and I'm thinking he's just going to keep roaring me, and so I go for the Yawn. And I didn't know this thing could learn Shadow Ball. Doesn't do too much to me anyway, it does about a third. But I do get the Spec D drop, but I am going to switch out straight away. So I go to my Dom 1, which is Nidoking, and he withdraws Glaceon on the same turn and goes to his Kingdra. And I really messed up here. I didn't know what was quicker or anything, and I thought I could live, and basically having never used this team or this Pokemon, I completely wasted my Nidoking. And so I switched to my Ferroseed, thinking that I can kind of take these okay, but it's boosted in the rain, and it is Stab, obviously, and it's just a powerful Pokemon all around. But I know I can take one at least, and I go for the Thunder Wave. And as you'll see, I actually have changed the sprites to change colour, and I've also changed the name, so it's now TaintedCatalyst and Opponent, and that's what it will be all the time now. I set up the Leech Seed on him, just to kind of scare him, because I don't have any way of attacking him really with this Pokemon, and I don't want it to die just yet, and I knew I could take another Hydro Pump. Excuse me. On this turn, I switch out on the same turn that he does too, and he goes to his Sigilyph. And I didn't know what this thing could do. He has the Flame Orb, so he's burnt. And I go to Blastoise, because I figured the Blastoise could take a hit from the Kingdra if he wanted to stay in with that. And this Blastoise is a physically defensive one, and I set up the Aqua Ring. So with the Rain, Leftovers, and Aqua Ring, I'm restoring a lot of health every turn. He goes for the Cosmic Power, so obviously he's some sort of physical, some sort of bulky variant, and as you can see, I put on the side the stat boosts, and there'll be stat drops as well. So he's currently at +1 defense, +1 special defense, and my Blastoise is burnt, but I am restoring all my health. The only thing that sucks is that I restore all that health there, but then the burn activates afterwards, and so it doesn't make any difference, that I'm getting 3 loads of health at the end of each turn, because the burn is just going to build up at the end. And so I'm just trying to surf away here, because I'm not sure what this thing wants to do, and to be completely honest, I didn't know what it could do, or what anything else on his team could do, and he goes for the Psychic, which does around maybe 20%, so it's really not worrying me. I mean, the burn and that adding up, it'll take a long time for him to kill me. And I was just basically kind of bringing his health down. To be honest, I was kind of scouting for Roost to see if he had it. I didn't know if this thing had Roost or if it could carry it, and he does have it, and so I'm thinking to myself, okay, on the same turn I surfed, So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll switch, expecting the roost. And so I switch to my Omastar to try and threaten him out with the Ice Beam. And so yeah, as you can see here, I switch out, go to Omastar, and he goes for the Cosmic Power. And so he's now at +3 to both his defense and his special defense. And I was a little bit worried here, because I didn't know if this thing would just completely wall me now. And just as the rain stops, he goes for the Psychic as I go for the Substitute. And luckily it doesn't take me below 1/4 of the HP. It nearly did, but just not quite as much. And I go for the Shell Break, which is good for me because I carry the White Herb, which means that I don't get the defense drops, I just get the boosts. And so now I know I'm going to be quicker than it, and I go for the Ice Beam just to finish it off. And even with its +3 special defense, I figured that my +2 special attack, plus my max special attack, and I think I'm Modest Nature, which is good. And so here I was worried that he had a Mach Punch or Bullet Punch or some sort of, priority move, and I didn't want to just waste this thing for nothing, so I go to my Uxie to take it. It goes for the close combat. I don't know if he would have still been quicker than me. I think this thing is choiced, possibly, because he didn't take any damage and he didn't regain any health, and so I was a bit worried about that. And the same thing with this, I thought that this might have been choiced because it wasn't taking damage from a life orb and it wasn't gaining health back. So I go for the Rain Dance just to get the rain back up as he switches to his Kingdra, and I really thought that Psychic would take it out there, which it didn't, which sucked. He does get the special D drop, and then he takes me out with the Scald. And so right now I am -2 Pokemon, and he is only -1 Pokemon. And I switched to my last Pokemon, which we haven't seen yet, which was Azumarill, and I went for the... I was going to Revenge, because I'm Choice Banded, and I knew that thing being Paralyzed obviously would not be quicker than me. And I go for the Body Slam, since there was nothing on his team that wanted to take a Body Slam. I could have... He might have been expecting the Aqua Jet as a priority to, just take it out quickly, and so he switched to Milotic, or maybe the Waterfall. Either way, it didn't matter. And now I knew this thing was choiced, and I didn't know, I figured it was probably Choice Scarfed, because the Choice Band would have probably done more damage to my Uxie, or Uxie, or whatever it's called. He goes to the High Jump Kick, and I am physically defensive, completely physically defensive with this Blastoise, and so I know that I can take a, well, I thought he was going to do a close combat. He goes to the High Jump Kick, and I think he was expecting the Protect there, which is why he switched, and I thought that, basically, I thought Blastoise was kind of dead here, and so I just went for Surf, because I was kind of hoping if he misses his High Jump Kick, then my Surf should finish him off after his own damage, comes in. And at this point I was expecting the close combat, because, I thought that he was choiced and he wouldn't go for the High Jump Kick if he thought that I was going to use Protect, and obviously then he'd, crash and die. And I brought this in because it was pretty much done at this point, and I knew that there wasn't going to be too much use to me right now, apart from just getting this thing's health down, so that I can come in with my Azumarill and Aqua Jet to, because if it was Choice Scarf, which is what I suspected, it would have been quicker than me, and so the Aqua Jet would obviously be priority and take it down. So I was just trying to get as much damage on it as I could before I was actually going to finish it. And at this point, I didn't know if this was quicker than me or not. I was suspecting it was, because I checked the stats, and that does have a higher speed than me. I didn't know if it was fully invested in speed. And so I switch, and also an Aqua Jet, I didn't know if an Aqua Jet would take it out at that point. So I could have obviously gone for the Aqua Jet, and I would have been quicker then, but I didn't know if it would kill or not. And so I go to Omastar to fodder out and come back in with Azumarill to go for the Waterfall. And I do take the Iron Head pretty well, it does about half my health, and then I kill it, and then he goes to Glaceon. And again, I didn't know if the Waterfall would take it out at that point, and I didn't want him to kill me with any attacking moves that he had. I didn't know, maybe a crit or something would happen. And he sets up the Barrier, which gives him +2 to his defense. And I send in my Blastoise, and I was really worried at this point. I just started going for Surfs, and I was really worried that he was going to keep setting up barriers. Because if he kept doing that, then obviously by the time my burn kills my Blastoise, he may be able to survive against Azumarill. But he just goes for the attack, which takes out my Blastoise, which means I can come in safely with my Azumarill. So that was a big prediction. I had to choose whether or not I was going to switch in. If I switched in and took the Shadow Ball, I don't know how much damage it would have done to me. But I do go for the Superpower, since no, I'm probably going to be quicker than him. And it takes him out. So that was a 1-0. It was a very good game. That was the first time I'd ever used, a rain team, and I know that I made a lot of mistakes. I definitely wasted my Nidoking. That thing carried Thunder and a couple other stuff, and with Life Orb and obviously its Sheer Force, it's a complete insane beast of a creature. And I just wasted it, and that would have been really useful, obviously against Milotic. As soon as he brought Milotic in, I was really worried that the fact that I wasn't carrying Thunder, really thought that was going to screw me over because Nidoking was dead. But luckily, the Body Slam was able to do enough. And yeah, sorry, I'm going to start rambling here. Obviously, that's kind of my thing. I keep talking and talking and talking, and then it doesn't make much sense. So, I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching. I just broke 30 subs when the last video went up. I think I'm on 31 now, and that's so cool. I'm really happy with that. A few weeks back, I was on, maybe even a month ago, I was on like somewhere between 10 and 15, and I was really happy with that. Maybe it was like 11, I don't remember. But I was really happy with that. And it's just building up, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's subbed, and that rates and leaves comments and stuff. And my Pokemon videos get a really good feedback and a really good audience and stuff. So that's really cool. So please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. I know that you will. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.